Hello, welcome back to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. I am Tiffany Watkins, and today we'll be breaking down something that doesn't always get talked about in real estate circles, but absolutely should. We're talking about primary elections and how the results can directly and indirectly affect the real estate market. Oh, sorry, hold on, take the notes off. Oh, sorry, people. Uh, I put something on here and I don't know how to get it off. Comments. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. Except the real estate market. Now, before you tune out, because it sounds political, this isn't about parties, it's about policy. And policy impacts our property. Whether you're buying, selling, a landlord, an investor, a homeowner, what happens in primary elections can shape the housing market long before the general election ever happens. Let's get into it. What is the primaries and why they matter? A primary election is when voters choose who will represent their party in the general election. That includes when the candidate has been picked for the primary, they become the general election person that represents them. And these people, these candidates who win the primary, they affect our property taxes, our rent control, zoning laws, and development of home buyers incentives starts to influence the expectations of the real estate market moving forward. So most people think the president election matters the most, but it doesn't. It really is the primary elections that actually matter the most during the election time. So, with that being said, let's talk about the short term market impacts. During the primary election, we often I'm sorry, you all. I'm not feeling well, so I'm trying to get through this and remember my thing. So bear with me because I want to get this out because our elections for Chicago primary elections is March 17th, and people really, really need to get out and vote and understand the impacts that it has. During the primary election, we often see one word up words up that show up in the market: uncertainty. It always talk about we uncertain about how the market is going to be, and that makes buyers hesitant, sellers hesitant, investor hesitant, and some people adopt that wait and see approach. This doesn't mean that the market is crashing. It's just usually slow activities and purchase and sales and rentals, longer days on the market for the real estate, and fewer multiple offers. Once results are clear, companies often returns. Real estate loves clarity. The big policy areas that affect real estate, though, is property taxes. Local and state primary winners often uh, determine tax directions. And as we can see in Cook County, our property taxes in some areas have doubled, went up 2 and 3 to 100%. Like, it's really, really important who you put into your Cook County official positions in your government, your mayoral positions. Even our mayor is going up in Chicago on our taxes. And people may think that this is not a big thing, but it is. It really, really does affect our market, these property taxes. Higher property taxes, which will result into landlords increasing raising rents for renters and home ownership costs going up. My mortgage payments went up because I have an escrow for my taxes and insurance. My mortgage payments went up like $300 because my property taxes and insurance went up. Low tax caps is more predictable for home ownerships and investors to want to invest in that market because the property taxes are low. Another thing that the primary elections affect are rent controls and landlord regulations. If the primary support winner supports strict tenant laws, rent caps, eviction limitations, investors pay attention to that immediately. And this impact determines the rent pricing strategies, investor demands, and even wealth builder choice to develop in our areas. And if we are not having development going on in our areas and we have a low uh, inventory as it is, and the developer doesn't come in and build, it causes the prices to go up, because when there's a supply and demand issue, prices will increase if there's no supply to meet the demand, even though they have put caps on rent or taxes. People have a tendency now to want to move and grow and get in a bigger space, and it has a bigger demand for real estate that we don't have to give to them. Policy direction shapes profitability as well for investors. So it does make a difference as an investor. If you're living in the community in which you're purchasing and building, you want to make sure you're out and voting for people who vote for the best interest of all the people, because what happens to the tenants also affects the investors. Zoning and housing supply. This might not be the most important one, but local primary winners often control zoning density, building approvals, and development timelines. So that makes a difference, because the person who's sitting in those seats can control how much is being developed in your neighborhood, what type of real estate is being developed in your neighborhood, and the timeline they're giving them to do these developments. If supply expands and prices stabilize, if zoning stays tight, housing remains limited, and prices often again start going up. Again, supply and demand rules for the market. First-time homebuyer programs. Some candidates run on expanding down payment assistance on tax credits. While that can increase affordability access, it can also increase the demand. And when demand rises faster than supply, prices rises too. Investment and capital gain policies. For investors, talk to change. For capital gain, taxes, 1031 exchange, and depreciation can shift behavior strictly. If an investor pulls back, that affects the inventory and transactional values. So some people don't like investors in their communities, but investor also helps to appreciate the value of the community. When you have investors and developers coming in and renovating and improving the quality of the community, it increases the property value, and also it brings in other type of businesses in that community to help the communities to thrive. So you want investors to come in. Local elections matter the most, and most people don't understand how important local elections is. And this is my last and final point. The mayor, and I said it again before, the mayor, the city council, the county commission, the state legislations, those people affect how policies are written for our housing market. We take primary elections for granted. We take local elections for granted. We have a president as an office that is destroying the American economy as a whole. How do we take hold and get control back in our economy when we have someone that has no respect for our constitutional laws? We have to put people in the House and the Senate at the U.S. level, the federal level, as well as in our local level, that makes policies and procedures that help the collective. Now, I've talked to people, and people have talked to me about why they vote the way that they vote. And I'm a person, I don't vote on a party, whether the Democrat or Republican. I vote for the best candidate that helps all people. Because no matter what tax bracket you're in, how the majority of the people are affected has a reflection on your profit margin for the investors and the people that are in higher tax brackets. We think about, oh, what is beneficial for us to save money, pay lower taxes. But if we're crippling the people who are feeding our bottom line, which are the consumers who are spending, then how do we think we're going to continue to profit when they don't have anything to spend? They don't have a way to live. I was telling a client of mine, and he was like, well, how do I see the market? And I told him the market is stable. It's not a lot of buyers and it's not a lot of sellers. So it's stable. Some things are staying on the market longer because there's a lack of buyers. And the reason it's a lack of buyers is because the cost of living has increased drastically. But again, people want to change. And they think this change looks like someone chopping the head off the body and thinking they're going to still function in the normal way they used to. We have to have a gradual change. It's okay for change because I'm a person to change. My motto is be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I work out that premise. I go into rooms and in environments where people don't look like me, are not the same sex as me, and I make decisions that is based on the collective. When I'm going to those rooms, I speak for the voices that don't have the voice to speak for themselves. And today we have a voice because on March 17th in Chicago, you have the ability to vote and put people in place that are going to do what's best for all constituents. Not somebody that's going to save the rich money or give more programs to the poor, but who's looking out for the best interest of all constituents. So you might have to vote independent. You might have to pick a Republican candidate on one thing, and then you may pick a Democrat candidate for another area. The best thing is to pick the candidate that helps benefit all people, because we have a social justice humanistic right to help all people and not just ourselves. I believe in this model, and I tell people all the time, if you keep your hands closed like this, God can't put anything in it. But if you open it up, he can give you an abundance more than what you need to be able to supply your needs. So I have no desire to be a billionaire, because there's nothing I can do with $1 billion or have a net worth of $1 billion, because my kids, I don't even have kids, and even my nieces and nephews and those that come behind me can't spend that amount of money if it means that other people have to suffer for me to be that wealthy. So when you go into these polls to vote, you need to make sure that you're voting for people who make the best decisions for everyone, because at the mayoral level, at the city council level, at the county commissions and the state legislative level, these people control zoning, they control property taxes, they control rental licensing, they control short-term rental rules, they control development regulations. These people are making true impacts directly in the community. And the people in the House and the Senate also controls what the president does. If you did not pay attention in Constitution for history in 8th grade and in high school, take yourself a refresher course and pay attention. The Senate and the House and the Supreme Court can control anything that is done unconstitutional. But if you put somebody in place that does not appreciate or value the Constitution that has been designed to put checks and balances in place, then we all are doomed. These are the last days, and people need to get right in their spirit and doing what's humanistically is right by all people. So my final takeaway. So what is the biggest takeaway from this? The primary election does impact changing home values, but they shape the policy directions, the market confidence, the investor behavior, and the long-term home supply. And real estate responds to all of these things. So whether you're buying, selling, managing properties, or invest them, pay attention to the primary elections and the people that are representing the people that live in these properties that we stay in. And that's the same for rentals. You're mad about your rent rates going up. Well, your rent gonna keep going up if our property taxes keep going up. Your rent is gonna keep going up if the cost to purchase these properties keep going up. So how do we control this? By making sure that we put people in positions that are doing for the best interest of all people and that are fair to all people. So again, thank you for always tuning in to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. Please like, subscribe, and share with other people the message that I bring to you each Tuesday, third Tuesday of the month, to let you know what's going on in real estate and how real estate affects and impact everybody's life. Because where there's no shelter, there's no peace. If you don't have a place to live and you don't have a place to lay your head, you're not at peace. You have people who are living underneath bridges in tents, who don't have housing. An American deficit, the money that we use to bail other countries out, can remove our homeless population. But we don't vote in constituents who want people to be great. We voted in constituents who are capitalists. We voted in a president who is a capitalist, and all he cares about is the bottom line of how much money he can make for himself to leave to his heirs. He doesn't think about anybody else that this is affecting. So I'm saying to you, make sure you go out and vote somebody into place that has your best interest in mind. So it may be a lot of candidates out there, but read what they're talking about. You have to do your own homework. You can allow social media and news outlets to deter you from going to the polls or helping you make the decision for what is best for you in the polls. You have to do your own due diligence, because if you don't, you see what is happening right now. Those individuals who voted against their best interests when they put him in office for the saying of, oh, he's going to make a change. He's going to do things differently. He told you he's a person of his word. And yes, you're right. He's the person of his word. But what his word that he said was against your best interest. So you voted against your best interest. This is the time to correct your mistakes, to make a better decision in how your future and your children's future and your ancestors that come, the people that come behind you, future is drawn out and mapped out by electing someone who is going to do what's best for people. Thank you again, as I said, for always tuning in to Tiffany Teach Tuesday, and have a wonderful day.